If you're a bit younger than I, you might have missed out on the phenomena that was the Rugrats. The Rugrats was essentially Nickelodeon's first SpongeBob SquarePants, a media juggernaut that crushed out 9 seasons of television, multiple movies, tons of merch, and even grabbed a ton of accolades over its 8-year original run. It's even currently slated for a revival this year, though I don't know how I feel about that personally. All of these accolades and positive reception were well deserved too, since the Rugrats was one of the best cartoons on television in the 90s. It was an absolutely whimsical show that perfectly captured the overactive imaginations of children and managed to apply it to all their mundane adventures. On top of delivering these delightful capers, Rugrats also dropped moments of brutal reality.
Stu, what are you doing?
Making chocolate pudding.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you making chocolate pudding?
Because I've lost control of my life.
And moments that were incredibly disturbing to see in a kid's cartoon.
Cake and ice cream? Oh boy!
It was the type of show that kids, teenagers, stoned college kids, and adults could enjoy. Hell, I even still watch an episode on occasion now. It's just that good of a show. I was originally gonna drop a favorite episode here, but the more I thought about it, the more I couldn't just pick one. Mega Diaper Babies, What the Big People Do, The Inside Story, Angelica Breaks a Leg. Hell, the list could go on and on. There really is no shortage of good episodes to pick. Pre-Dill at least. But I'm not here to talk about fun episodes of great children's television, this being a more video game-centric channel after all, so I'm here to talk about the last pillar of any entertainment franchise. Video games! The Rugrats over the course of 8 years between 1998 and 2005 pumped out an impressive 19 video games, not even counting crossover titles. We're gonna talk about the most famous one though, one that I played almost constantly as a kid, one that I even still have my disc for, and one that sold enough to be made a greatest hit for the PlayStation 1. Rugrats, The Search for Reptar. One of the 4 games released in 1998, Search for Reptar was a smash success that sold over 1.5 million copies, and is definitely the most remembered Rugrats game for certain. Search for Reptar begins with an in-game recreation of the show's intro. Look, it's practically 1 for 1, even down to the cum shot at the end. Then comes the main menu, where the kids make very strange noises instead of anything resembling their voices, even. You begin the game and are greeted with Tommy angrily stomping around and exclaiming,
"Where's my Reptar puzzle?"
He promptly finds it, but whoops, looks like all the pieces are gone. The babies promptly all begin crying, causing Stu and Dee to leap into action.
It's okay, kids. Here, have a ball.
Yeah, just play with your ball instead, stupid. In defiance of his negligent parents, though, Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil vow to find the rest of the puzzle pieces, even if they got to search the whole wide world. At this point, you're given control of Tommy within the Pickles home and given free reign to explore the house. You can play with Tommy's toys. You'll find an array of levels dotted throughout the Pickles home. These various levels are how you earn either Reptar bars, 15 of which will give you a puzzle piece, or just straight up earn the piece itself on the harder levels. Pretty simple, right? Well, there's one problem. Okay, so I won't beat around the bush with this game. It's pretty bad. The middling review scores it got from reviewers all over at the time it came out were completely warranted. Put it bluntly, the game is ugly. The babies look okay, but the adults, ay. Stu's face is somehow 3D and flat at the same time, not to mention his razor-sharp Ginsu hands. Dee Dee is also severely lacking in a nose, not that it helped the model that much. Thankfully, Grandpa Lou at least looks passable, and double thankfully, these are the only 3 adults in the game we have to gawk at in total horror. Search for Reptar's biggest issue, though, is that it controls like complete ass. You move very quick for a toddler, on top of the controls being incredibly loose. Stack these controls with an incredibly wacky camera that will fight you constantly, and, well, you end up smacking your baby into shit almost constantly. Your characters also jump insanely far, which is both a curse and a blessing. A curse, since you can easily overshoot platforms in the more jump-centric portions of the game, and a blessing, since you can $1 Million Man leap downstairs for far quicker descents. But you know what? Even in spite of these issues that are ever present while playing this game, it was still incredibly fun to play. Sounds weird, right? Barring a few moments which I'll mention when I'm covering all the levels, I had a total blast playing through this game again. Maybe it's just because it was short, or maybe it was because the stakes were super low when it came to failing, but this game's actually pretty fun. And now we go in depth on it. There are 17 levels in Search for Reptar, divided into 5 categories: easy, medium, hard, bonus, and 1 finale level. All of these levels are very loosely based on episodes from the show. Each level also very clearly explains what you need to do do in both the level and in the card before the level, so even your average Let's Playing man-child wouldn't be able to fuck it up. In the easy category, there's Chunky's Glasses, which is a game of hide-and-seek, where you play as noted coward Chucky Finster as he has to find all the other babies, tag them, and then race them back to the playpen. All without his precious glasses, since Mansmelica said.
Extra eyes is no fair.
You know the terrible controls are actually perfect for this mission? They're disorienting, fast, and pukey, great for representing someone running around completely blind. Though it'd be a lot funnier if the game looked like this during the mission, but that might have been too puke-inducing. Ice Cream Mountain is the next easy level, a 9-hole mini-golf course where you rotate through the cast of babies. You know you can play this mode in multiplayer? And weirdly, Susie Carmichael is a playable character, though she has no voice lines whatsoever and doesn't appear in the main game. You do this golfing all while a grown man taunts you constantly.
You want a year's supply of nothing.
I find it very odd that in the Egyptian hole, the various pillars have Tommy, Chucky, and Angelica's faces carved into them. Kinda creepy. Even creepier though is the mummified Mr. Friend lurking deeply within the pyramid. Speaking of Mr. Friend, that's the next level. While screwing around in Stu's basement laboratory, Tommy accidentally finds the first cameo appearance of the Reptar wagon, but also creates a Mr. Friend doll that promptly attacks him, just like in the show. You defend yourself by hurling soda cans and bouncy balls at it till it violently explodes.
Obey your parents, stay out of danger.
Tommy celebrates his victory, but unfortunately 3 more Mr. Friends get popped out for round 2. This time out, Tommy unlocks his hand-to-hand techniques, including a grab, a kick, and the Kamaki Tiger Drop. Unfortunately, you don't have the corn popper Tommy used in the show, though a cut sequel level to Mr. Friend at least seems to indicate it was planned. Rounding out the easy category are the Cookie Race, a simple foot race around the house against Angelica to prevent her from eating all the cookies, and Egg Hunt, an Easter egg hunt. Grandpa's Teeth is probably my favorite medium difficulty level. Grandpa, eager to gum some potato salad, takes his teeth out to do so, but uh-oh, Spike snags the teeth and dashes off. Tommy and Chucky, wanting to help Grandpa, obviously, escape their pen and begin the search for Spike. Wonder why they didn't render in Tommy's famous screwdriver here. Probably too much to do. If you don't feel like looking for Spike, though, you can play on the playground equipment instead. But the level has to be complete at some point. Just watch out for geese. You ain't got no bread. You find Spike, and just as Chucky is about to retrieve Grandpa's teeth, he's promptly kidnapped by a surly goose. You chase the bird to a shuffleboard court? I don't know what to call that. And now you have to shoot pucks at the bird to stop him from menacing Chucky. I like this part because it implies that the average goose is stronger than a baby. An absolutely true statement if there ever was one. Circus Angelicus is the next level I played, a 3-part level that begins with the mighty lion Spike jumping through hoops of flame. Obviously, that is what's happening here. You know, devs, a Rugrats game would be much better if you include the whimsy like in the show. I guess that's why they avoid some of the more fancy episodes like Mega Diaper Babies or The Inside Story. This is followed by a tricycling Phil and Lil pulling a sick jump. 23 years I've played this game, and I still have no idea what this meter represents. And lastly, ended by the human cannonball Chucky being launched into a pile of leaves, only later to be crushed by Angelica, leaving Chaz a lonely widower. Let There Be Light, a survival horror segment where you do your best to blast ghosts who spout ethnic slurs at you if they catch you, with the goal being to open the fridge and let the light into the house. Then there's Visitors from Outer Space, which I'd always thought was called Outside Space, but I guess that's just the Mandela effect in action for me. All the babies get abducted by aliens, and it's up to Angelica to rescue them since she didn't end up in the pen with them somehow. The controls are at the absolute worst in the zero gravity section. I swear to God, my controls inverted on me entirely at random, to the point where I just flipped my controller upside down and navigated like that because it was easier. Anyway, babies escape in a space car, leaving Angelica behind to die and be devoured by the aliens. And thusly comes the hard levels, which I'd completely forgotten you need to collect a few puzzle pieces first before the game even lets you attempt them. I guess you gotta sharpen your skills in the baby levels before you can attempt these Herculean feats. Incident on Aisle 7's a pretty fun level that has you navigating a supermarket that's completely in chaos. You navigate through some produce, cream forgotten characters Larry and Steve with pies, before evading everything in the dairy and frozen section, which seems to have been overtaken by a poltergeist of some kind. You also tame lobsters in this segment. Yeah, taming is when they spontaneously combust after blunt force trauma, right? Oh shit, I remember this part from the show. The big blue boss lobster that's kidnapped Grandpa and is actively slicing his fingers off one by one until Tommy sends him off to be butchered. Toy Palace, which starts with Chucky navigating the darkened halls of the Toy Palace to find Tommy, getting the piss scared out of his bottle by literally everything in the store, except this actually terrifying clown for some reason. The duo reunite and you're both immediately attacked by Thorg. Thankfully you can activate the nearby Reptar, who shoves him into a time machine and he's promptly never seen again. Yeah, they sell a time machine in this toy store apparently. I wonder how much that would run you. As a side note, the voices for both Thorg and Reptar are completely wrong in this segment. Everybody else's voice in this game are fine, provided by the original actors and everything, but these two just aren't, and I don't know why.
Dog hungry! Dog want to eat!
Halt, I am Reptar. Halt, I am Reptar.
Oh well. Seven Voyages of Cynthia is the final hard mission you can play in. Well, hard is a pretty accurate description of this level due to the controls. Spike jumps so damn far, which makes the more precise platforming almost impossible, which means you get dunked right into the poo water. Thankfully, that's not a big deal really, and you can just sprint out easily, but regardless, it's pretty damn annoying to deal with. You evade nuclear waste that's been discarded all over the area, demon hell rats, and find Angelica's precious Cynthia and return it to her just after she's killed both Tommy and Chucky for losing her in the first place. Oh, and before I forget them, bonus levels, of course. Touchdown Tommy and No More Cookies are basically the same. You eat or drink all of something to prevent Angelica from having it. You're supposed to pass the food between the babies, but funnily enough, you can just outrun her entirely and have Tommy devour the whole thing himself. Gold Rush is a boring collection game, and Mirrorland is 6 boring collection games done in an upside-down version of the house. I thought bonus missions were supposed to be short. This one's longer than most of the normal missions. After all of this, though, you face your mightiest challenge yet, assembling a 12-piece puzzle. Collecting all the puzzle pieces rewards you with the final level of the game, Reptar Zolo. Ah, now this is what every kid wanted. Just a free rampage through a big city, stomping stuff into the ground, breathing fire, and annihilating everything in your path. This is a great reward after a fairly mixed bunch of mini-games and levels. The game finishes with Reptar doing a little dance for the crowd before hitting you with the credits and dumping you back into the Pickles home so you can do it all over again. Ah, nostalgia. It's a pretty powerful thing and can definitely put a rosy tint on all the things that I loved as a kid. But I actually had a lot of fun playing this game, even with the game's controls fighting me most of the time. I honestly wish every crappy game was as fun as this crappy game. Shit, I wish all the other Rugrats games were even half as memorable as this one. At the end of the day though, I give the game 5 babies out of 6. Fun, but could've used some work, and this review channel needs an arbitrary score at the end. As always though, my name is Hades Manticore, this is City State Manticore. Leave a like and comment if you played this game as a kid and loved it too, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.